I started playing this game, right? Is it warmer or cooler? Meaning, does this feel like me? Does this feel instinctively like an immediate yes or a no? So when I was playing this game of warmer or cooler, it was much like point 3, where I started having this conversation with myself. So the first conversation was, well, if I did go to Toronto, would I go by plane? And, I think it was more like I was staring out at the window and I was looking at the sky, and then every so often, a plane would fly by, and I would and because this thought to go to Toronto was on my mind, I'd be like, I don't think I, intentionally asked it, but somewhere inside of me, it was like this notion, fly to Toronto, but it was like, no, something about that is just off. That would not interest me. That almost makes me feel a bit nauseous, whatever. And in its place would arise this immediate counter response, which was, you would go by train. It was more like a sassy voice. It was like, you would go by train, obviously. It was like this obvious this voice that was like, obviously. So that's how it sounded for me. And it was like this feeling of warmth. It was curiosity more than anything else. So, if anything, I would say the voice, it was like, when I started having the conversation with myself, I got curious, right? I wasn't just shutting down the idea of go to Toronto. I was playing this game of warmer or cooler. It's almost like if you have a kid, sister, or brother, and they kind of keep bothering you, and instead of just shooing them away, it's like you kind of entertain them a little bit. You're like, well, what would that look like? What would this sound like? etc., right? So, at some point, I actually look up the train from Vancouver to Toronto. So I mentioned in point 3 that I didn't actually know if there was a train from Vancouver to Toronto. I'd actually never taken the train across Canada before. And lo and behold, that there is in fact a train. It's called the Via Rail. And so suddenly now there's this piece of the puzzle. I'm like, oh, so there is a train that goes from Vancouver to Toronto. And now I actually know the timetable. I actually know that actually is quite a frequent train. I know about roughly how much it would cost. I know about how you would actually attain this ticket and, other details like that, right? I'm not necessarily trying to go to Toronto. It's just suddenly out of curiosity and out of this questioning and conversation with myself, right? Point 3, I'm now playing this game of warmer or cooler. I call it the Marco Polo game. So when I'm playing this game, it led from one thing into another. So at some point, I became curious. I'm like, so what is the train station in Vancouver? And interestingly, I've actually been to this place before, and so I could locate it in my mind. So the next question was what's the train station in Toronto look like? And that's what led me to the Union train station in Toronto. So then I started getting curious.